Gene Parmesan, how you doing?
Cheese lovers need to get the inside scoop on the gourmet Italian cheese known as Parmesan. Making this particular cheese, which has a nutty and gritty taste, is truly an art form. A favorite ingredient in so many recipes, let's discover the top 10 untold truths of Parmesan cheese.
Is there Parmesan in this?
The good stuff costs a bundle.
That's the good stuff.
If you want to buy a big wheel of Parmesan for personal use, be aware that you'll be purchasing a lot of Parmesan cheese. The Costco website offers 72-pound cheese wheels for $899.99 US. The stuff you shake out of a can onto a plate of pasta is not generally the good stuff, and that grated cheese product isn't going to put a big dent in your bank account. But you should treat yourself to the fancier version at least once, and maybe much more often. You'll find that enjoying real Parmesan is a true culinary milestone. Authentic Parmesan isn't even called Parmesan. That's an English name for this cheese, but we'll talk about that a bit later.
I'm afraid you'll just have to wait.
Parmesan, as in real Parmesan, is an extravagant food product. Real Parmesan is always created in wheel form. Huge wheels of this gourmet cheese are produced and then aged. It all happens in Italy. Lately, there is a trend towards making pasta dishes directly on top of Parmesan cheese wheels. The pasta is stirred around on top of the cheese wheels and then served. Before the pasta is put on top of a cheese wheel, a bit of the cheese is scraped out. The scraped out cheese flavors the pasta and gives it texture. It all happens tableside for a bit of mealtime drama. While obviously all pasta joints don't offer pasta made in cheese wheels, there are eateries where these types of dishes are specialties. You can find this available in Houston, Texas at Ragu and Pesto. You can also find it at Le Petit Paris in Los Angeles and Cacio e Pepe in the Big Apple.
Why do they call it the Big Apple, Ron?
Because New York has an apple tree on every street.
It tastes better as it ages.
And only getting better with age.
Genuine Parmesan ages like fine wine. Authentic Parmesan cheese from Italy, which is produced in those huge wheel shapes, is aged for a couple of years. But there are other types of Parmesan cheeses which are aged for even longer. Parmesan cheeses labeled as Stravecchio age for 3 years, while Stravecchione is aged for 4 years. Since the aging process is so long, even when Parmesan is sold at a younger age, such as 2 years, it's no surprise that this cheese costs serious cash. It costs money to store huge cheese wheels over the long term, not to mention what it costs to produce these gourmet cheese wheels in the first place.
Don't even get me started on that.
Way back in the Middle Ages, Benedictine monks made this revered cheese in their monasteries. In the 13th century, it was made in 4 different regions of Italy. This cheese has a long history. It is a cheese with heritage, and the making of this cheese is all about time-honored Italian tradition. Cows whose milk is utilized to make Parmesan from Italy are fed a special diet in order to produce the purest, tastiest milk. Cows are never fed any animal-based products. Every step of the production process for this raw milk cheese was carefully thought out ages ago. It's believed that the process hasn't been altered in any significant way since medieval times.
It's very impressive.
Parmesan is rich in nutrients.
The cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
If you're not a Parmesan expert, you won't believe how nutritious this cheese product actually is. It's kind of astonishing. It is loaded with nutrients. So be sure to treat yourself in moderation. When you indulge in genuine Parmesan, you'll access a treasure trove of protein, minerals, and vitamins. Authentic Parmesan cheese, which must be produced in Reggio Emilia, Parma, Mantua, Bologna, or Modena, Italy, contains 35.8 grams of protein per 100 gram serving. That's a much higher protein count than you would access if you ate the same amount of mozzarella, camembert, or cheddar cheese. It's more protein than meat offers in the same serving size.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
In terms of mineral content, real Parmesan contains sulfur, potassium, sodium, magnesium, chloride, calcium, and phosphorus. It's also a source of the fatty acids known as omega-3 fatty acids. This isn't a low-calorie food product, though, so do be moderate when you indulge. 100 grams of Parmesan contains 420 calories. You may be wondering which vitamins are present in authentic Parmesan. There are a lot. This cheese from Italy contains contains vitamin A, vitamins B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, and 12, as well as vitamins E and K. If you'd rather enjoy Parmesan than swallow a multivitamin, you'll be pleased to know that this cheese will give you so many important nutrients, plus great taste.
It's nutritious and it tastes great.
An earthquake once destroyed thousands of Parmesan wheels.
It's a crazy earthquake. Did you guys feel that?
There was once a natural disaster that threatened the entire Parmesan industry, but people did find solutions that saved the day. In 2012, there were a couple of earthquakes in Italy which damaged some property. These same earthquakes damaged huge and valuable Parmesan wheels. The wheels are stored in warehouses for aging, and the force of the earthquakes made the wheels crash to the warehouse floors. We're talking hundreds of thousands of wheels. Some of the wheels dropped from significant heights. 1/3 of the cheeses produced that year were ruined. Damage totaled over $320 million. Each gourmet cheese wheel was valued at about $450 US. These were high-end cheese wheels with hefty weights. So much high-end milk was needed to make them in warehouses equipped with humidity control systems to protect them. So how did the problem get solved? It was such a big problem.
Well, I don't know unless you tell me.
Well, firefighters rallied quickly to salvage as many cheese wheels as possible. 12 million kilos of Parmesan were salvaged. These firefighters were nicknamed Angels of Parmesan. Individuals and companies also offered to buy some of the damaged wheels, or pieces of the damaged wheels. A range of charitable initiatives also cropped up, which were designed to help revitalize the struggling Parmesan industry. So many people came together to help. It was all a nightmare for Parmesan producers and their employees, but those who recognized the value and quality of authentic Parmesan were more than willing to help, and the industry eventually recovered.
Way to go, team.
Real Parmesan is known as Parmigiano-Reggiano.
That's the good stuff.
Lots of people refer to this cheese as Parmesan, but that's the English name for it. The true Italian name for the authentic cheese from Parma or another region of Italy is Parmigiano-Reggiano. There are tight controls which dictate whether or not cheesemakers may call their cheeses Parmigiano-Reggiano. Under European law, only cheese crafted in traditional Italian production areas may be called Parmigiano-Reggiano. Real Parmigiano-Reggiano is made in Italy, and there are things to look for when buying the cheese. To ensure that the cheese you're getting is genuine, look for the Parmigiano-Reggiano logo as well as the Protected Designation of Origin seal. This is the best way to ensure you're buying the real deal.
This is the real deal.
You don't have to buy a whole cheese wheel. You may opt for a wedge. The wedge of a genuine cheese will have the markings that show it's the real thing. The pre-graded cheeses you see on grocery store shelves aren't the real thing, and they will typically be labeled as Parmesan. These inauthentic versions may taste good and suit your preferences, but they are not the genuine Parmigiano-Reggiano. Find it at local cheese shops or anywhere that offers gourmet cheeses from around the world. Once you try the real thing, you'll notice a difference in taste, for the better. Imitation Parmesan cheese just doesn't have the same depth of flavor. It's fun to eat the genuine cheese. It's always a gourmet experience.
Oh, fancy.
Parmesan is lactose-free.
I have no patience for lactose.
People who are lactose intolerant may stay away from cheeses because they don't want digestive problems. The beauty of genuine Parmesan is that it won't trigger any digestive issues in people who are lactose intolerant because it is lactose-free. If you're looking for a cheese that is safe to consume despite your lactose intolerance, give authentic Parmesan a try. You may add it to recipes such as chicken parmigiana or risotto. You may grate it onto a bowl or plate of pasta. You may shave it into salads. You may eat it as a snack. A lot of cheeses are hard on the systems of people who are lactose intolerant.
He can't eat anything here without his intestines blowing up like a balloon animal.
This one is different. While real Parmesan isn't the cheapest cheese, you'll find that you don't need to use much of the cheese in order to add flavor to recipes. A little authentic Parmesan goes a very long way. Most people purchase a month's supply of the cheese and then make sure to use it up within 30 days. They don't invest in massive and costly cheese wheels.
You ate a whole wheel of cheese?
Kraft Heinz got sued for adding cellulose to its Parmesan cheese.
Sued by who?
Kraft Heinz got in legal hot water over the cellulose content in its grated Parmesan cheese product. Most of us are familiar with this cheese product, which comes in a shaker-style container. The cheese from Kraft Heinz is marketed as being 100% Parmesan, but this isn't the case. A study showed that it contained a cellulose level of 3.8%. After the investigation, Kraft Heinz and other companies were named in a legal action over the cellulose, which was utilized as a filler. The lawsuit happened in 2016. A woman from Illinois chose to move forward with a class action lawsuit in a federal court. Her lawsuit claimed that Kraft Heinz was violating state laws about fraud and business deception.
You have been deceived.
The thing is, cellulose, which is a fiber derived from plants, is not illegal. It has been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. Cellulose helps to prevent clumping in cheese that is grated before it is sold. So, it's a filler ingredient that does serve a constructive purpose. All told, 50 lawsuits about cellulose content in a variety of products, which were directed at Kraft Heinz, Walmart, and other industrial heavyweights, were filed. In 2017, a judge threw out a lot of the lawsuits. The Kraft Heinz lawsuit got tossed, and Kraft execs were very happy. The judge said that all of the ingredients in the pre-grated cheese product were detailed right on the package. Anyone who was thinking about buying the cheese product could see what's in it just by checking the ingredients.
Look, it's quite simple.
Parmesan has a very hard texture.
Hard cheese.
Real Parmesan isn't a creamy cheese like Brie or Camembert. It is a hard cheese. Its texture is usually described as gritty. In Italian, the word is grana, which means granular. Authentic Parmesan has a nutty and fruity flavor. Pale imitations may feature more bitterness. This is yet another reason to try the real thing if you haven't tried it yet. There are special knives for grating or shaving Parmesan. The knives feature almond-shaped blades. Sometimes these knives are sent out as practical extras when people buy huge Parmesan cheese wheels.
Practical.
If you're interested in buying your own wedge or wheel and a Parmesan knife doesn't come with your purchase, you can find one at a kitchen supply store or order one online. Since this cheese is very hard, a proper knife will definitely come in handy. Parmesan cheese just doesn't have as much moisture as creamier cheeses. It's difficult to crack the rind of a Parmesan unless you have the right tool at hand. With a proper Parmesan knife, it's simple to get through a rind and then shave or grate the cheese.
It's so easy, Ryan.
Parmesan has to be stored correctly.
Do what must be done, Lord Vader.
When you are considering buying real Parmesan, it's a bit of an investment, although well worth it. When comparing places to buy, try to find out how they store their wedges and wheels before you buy. Proper storage is essential. A humidity-controlled environment is ideal for storage of big Parmesan wheels. Once you buy, you'll need to store your cheese properly at home. The cheese should be wrapped snugly in plastic cling film and then placed in the fridge. Make sure to keep it well wrapped after every use.
Wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Making the cheese isn't easy.
This is all work, mate.
Making what is deemed the king of cheeses by proud Italians isn't easy. It's an art and a science. Usually, cows graze right on site, while cheesemakers toil inside. The cows are milked regularly, and cheesemakers start creating authentic Parmesan by skimming milk collected the evening before. The milk is added to non-skimmed, fresh milk collected in the morning. Both types of milk are added to vast tanks made from copper. Rennet is added after whey is mixed in. The whole mixing process happens quickly. Several moments later, curds begin to form.
I need to see that so I can make curds and whey.
The curds are broken up with special tools that are like big whisks. Next, the huge metal cauldrons are heated up through steam in a gentle and slow manner. After 3/4 of an hour, the heat is shut off. At this point, the curds have joined together. Next, cheesemakers work in small teams to pull the newly formed cheeses out of the liquid in the vats. After this is done, the cheese solids are loaded into big rings of plastic which resemble the tires of trucks. At this point, the cheese sits for 9 hours. After the cheese rests, it's added to molds made from stainless steel and left to rest for 2 to 3 days. After this second resting period, the cheese brines in salt for around 18 days. Then it's put into a warm room where it sweats. This helps the rind to form naturally. After all these steps, it's time for the cheese to be placed in an aging room. Quite the process.
You can say that again.
Stick around and tap that screen to check out one of our other great videos. And if you're here for the first time, we'd love it if you subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and swat that subscribe button and ding that notification bell.